There's a lot of tools out there nowadays that are basically grabbing our data without our permission to use for AI training purposes, including LinkedIn. Watch this video, and I'm going to show you how to turn off this feature that is turned on by default. Okay, so I'm going to jump in now and show you how to turn off this feature. And then afterwards, I'm going to tell you why you should turn it off and why I have a personal problem with it as well. So, first thing I'm going to do, wherever you're at navigating through LinkedIn, in the desktop homepage feed is the easiest way of doing this. But if you see in the top, home, my network, jobs, messaging, notifications, me, we want to go into the area under the me drop down that's under the account section, and that's called settings and privacy. So once you click on that, you got to kind of think like LinkedIn, figure out where to find this. So if you look on the left navigation, it really involves your data, your use of your data, right? So data privacy is what we're looking for here. LinkedIn will sometimes change the navigation. So if you happen to be watching this video 6 months or a year from now, I just want you to think about where categorically this best fits. Okay. Now inside settings, we click on data privacy. Now we're under how LinkedIn uses your data. Now, I've already turned mine off, but there's a good likelihood when you go into this section, you're going to see this section that's called Data for Generative AI Improvement, and it will be turned on by default. This is the part that I don't like. I wish that LinkedIn and all these other tools would request that we opt in for permission to use our data for AI training versus having to opt out of it. And I'm not a big fan of it for that reason. But all you need to do to turn it off is click on where it says, it'll say on from your view. And then you'll go in this section and you just need to toggle that button from on to off, and then it'll be turned off. And you're going to notice inside here, the heading says Data for Generative AI Improvement. Can LinkedIn and its affiliates, let's think about that for a second, use your personal data and content you create on LinkedIn to train generative AI models that create content? There's so many things that I don't like about this statement. First of all, the fact that LinkedIn has this opted on by default. Second, and its affiliates, who are the affiliates, right? We really don't know who this is. Are they selling our data? Are they giving it away without our permission? Is it sites that we want our information shared with? And they're saying can they use your personal data and the content that you create? Now, you might say, well, gosh, Brenda, everything I'm putting through LinkedIn is public, right? But to an extent, I think you're choosing which first level connections to share this with. You're choosing who to accept into your network, who can see your contact info, and you even have the ability on LinkedIn to block people. Now, I don't know about you, but if there's an overly aggressive salesperson, I'll block them. If there's someone that's inappropriate or attacking me and not using LinkedIn in a professional way, I block them. I just don't need that noise in my life. That doesn't add to my value of how I'm using LinkedIn. So I am essentially opting out from them seeing and interacting with my information and seeing my content and my personal data. So now LinkedIn and its affiliates have access to share this amongst themselves, right? So I have a problem with that. I don't really know who the affiliates are, and I'm not giving you permission. If I want to be, aware of who is looking at my personal information that I'm putting through LinkedIn, my content, I would like it to be on the public platform. And I would like it to be with people that I am interacting with and knowing who is looking at my information on here. And then as we go a little bit deeper, this is to train generative AI models that create content. That's a little fuzzy, isn't it? Like, what does that mean? Does that mean that LinkedIn is going to use my data, my knowledge, my information, my passion, my expertise to help others and to potentially make money off of it? I don't like that, right? So just be aware that the setting is on. And if you look underneath, you're also going to see it says when this setting is on, LinkedIn and affiliates can use your data and content to train content generating AI models that are used in product features. So now they're using it for the betterment of their platform. And I think in the back of our mind, we think they're doing that all along because most of us are using LinkedIn for free, right? But now they're openly like stating this. So I feel like there's something wrong with it. Somebody from their legal department said, hey, you probably need to disclose this to people. So because of that fact, it makes me a little bit skeptical. And it says the data you use for this purpose does not include your private messages. Now I'm going to click on learn more. We're going to look at this together. You're going to see here some additional information. This was updated 2 months ago from LinkedIn, so it may or may not still be accurate because they're changing all the time and they don't necessarily update their help at the same time. So just take a read through this, and if you're interested in going a bit deeper and having an understanding of this, just be aware of this. And here's what I'm looking at. If you opt out of the data for AI, you may still use our generative AI that generate content. So this doesn't shut off the ability for you to use their AI prompts for comments and replies and things like that. And even if you have opted out, if you choose to provide feedback to us, we may still use your information that will include your feedback, thumbs down, thumbs up or down, or text that you include in your feedback to train. Okay, so that basically says if I'm filling out a contact us form on LinkedIn, they're training their AI models. And I think we all know, hopefully you know this, if you've ever contacted LinkedIn for help using their help forms, it seems that the first point of connection, the first person who's actually reading it is not a person. It's a bot. It's their generative AI models. And usually if you're not happy with your response, you with their response to you, rather, you can reply back and ask them to look further into it, and then it does get escalated typically to a human being, and sometimes you'll get a response at that point. So just be aware of this. There are different settings for different parts of the world. I know in the UK, I think it's turned off by default. Here in the US, it's turned on by default. But just be aware of what that setting is, and just be aware that it could be turned on for you without your consent or without your knowledge. So I do hope that you found this video helpful. And this video was actually prompted by my friend Carrie Saunders. She was recently talking on LinkedIn about the fact that Gmail is now giving us use, or rather, Gmail has a setting in there for AI use as well, and you have to turn that off. Otherwise, Google is scanning all of your emails and messages. And it made me think, gosh, this LinkedIn setting has been around for a while. There's probably a good likelihood that someone is not aware of the setting, or might be you're looking on YouTube right now for how to turn that setting off. So I hope that you found this helpful. You know, the biggest issue I have with this is not the use of data to train technology, but it's permission. It's the fact that we were opted in without our consent, and now we have to opt out of that. And, that's just something as a personal level, I want to know that my information is being used. It's the same thing as when you go to a website. Nowadays, every website you go to just about has that cookie. Do you pop up and it says, "Do you agree to consent to our use of using cookies as you're navigating around?" Some of them have more clever expressions for this, but you can either say yes or no, right? And then you can navigate the website knowing that they are watching your activities going through. Maybe that's okay with you, but maybe you don't want your information being gathered and collected as you're navigating around, right? So it's the same instance here, but in this case, LinkedIn has opted in, and this has actually been around for a while. This is not a new feature. This has been turned on in the background for a while, and people are starting to discover it, and we're starting to have conversations about it. So if that's what brought you to me, I do encourage you to get on my VIP email list. I'm always letting my VIP subscribers know about LinkedIn platform changes and features. Even if the LinkedIn site is down, I'll notify you about that as well. So get on that VIP email list, go to mellermarketing.com/subscribe. Alternatively, if you subscribe here to my YouTube channel, I'm always publishing LinkedIn strategy tips. Sometimes I share tech tips or marketing tips as well. And I think you'll find some really great content that is coming out of the channel here. With that said, this is Brenda Meller with Meller Marketing, helping you to get a bigger slice of the LinkedIn pie. And I look forward to seeing you on LinkedIn. If you did find this video helpful, do drop me a comment below and I'll be sure to reply back. Take care. Have a good day.